So I was here, right, and I had created the object of the mobile phone class. This is how you create the object. But technically, what do you mean by creating the object? What happens in the memory? Okay, in the memory, this kind of object is created. Fine. This object will have all the features of the mobile phone class. That is, what all was there in mobile phone. Okay. Um, there was a variable called as model, then number, fine, and there was a call function. So everything will be there inside this object, but I will not be able to access this object. To access this object, I'll have to create the reference to this object by writing mobile, say m1 equals to this. Similarly, I can create one more object, mobile m2 equals to this, new mobile. So what will happen in this case, technically two objects will be created in the memory. Each object would have its own set of variables, and each object would have its own reference. M1 and M2 are references to these objects. With the help of M1 and M2, you can call these, you can change the state of the object. You can basically call these variables. All I need to do is that I need to write M1 dot, say, model is Nokia. M1 dot number is some number, and similarly M2 dot model is iPhone. M2 dot number is this. So each object out here, object reference, it will point to a different object, and each object can have its own set of properties. You put a dot and you will get those properties. If I go here and I print system.out.println m1 dot, you will get the option call as well. Okay, or hold on, not system dot, simply I go and print here m1 dot call and m2 dot call as well. Now m1 is also calling call function, m2 is also calling call function, but they are calling their respective call functions. Okay, and what is the call function writing? It is writing calling the number of the mobile. Now if I run this code, this will print calling 1111 and 9999. Why? Because the call of M1 will print the number of M1 and call of M2 will print number of M2. Right? Now same concept is used in Selenium. It is very simple. We already have Selenium configured in our project. Fine. These are the jar files of Selenium. Okay, which I just downloaded and I imported the jar files in my project. Right. Now in Selenium there is no rocket science involved. You just need to, if you go to the Java docs, then these all are the classes which are inside Selenium. You should know how to create the objects of these classes and use them. Right. For example, I'll make a new class called as Selenium Basics with the name main function. Now, inside this documentation, you will see that there is a class known as Firefox driver. This Firefox driver is responsible for implementing the tests on Firefox. So all you need to do is that if I just go and write new Firefox driver and I create the object of this class, fine. If I move my mouse over this, you can select import, fine. You can select import and you can import Firefox driver, right? And if you run this, this will open a blank Firefox driver. So I just create the object of the Firefox driver and what I get in return is that a Firefox window opens up automatically. I can give this object a reference as well, like this: Firefox driver Firefox equals to new Firefox driver. And after that, if I write Firefox dot, I will get all the non-static properties of this class. We will be studying them as we proceed with the course. Fine. Don't try to get into this as of now, but try to understand the basics first. For example, there's a function called get. You give the URL and you will go to that site. For example, I give the URL, say cnn.com. Now, many people do this mistake. When you give the URL in the get function, always mention the protocol. Mention something like this: http cnn.com. The protocol is very important: http, https, whatever it is, but do mention. And if you run this, you'll see hold on. Yeah, just a minute. Yeah, the browser opens. Okay, it's not going. Hold on, what is the version I'm using? Yeah, 19. No, it's not necessary. Okay, it's not necessary to use www. Look, the version of Firefox which I'm using is 19 and the version of Selenium which I'm using is 2.28, which is not compatible with the Firefox version 19. Right? If you're working with, is anybody asking a question out here?
Yeah, I realized the root to reset the compatible version of Firefox is 16.
Yeah, up to 16 it works fine. I prefer using 12 or 13, right? So, right, otherwise you get an error like this. Cannot connected, unable to connect host with this, right? So if I go and downgrade my Firefox version, my Firefox it actually automatically updated itself, I guess. Otherwise I use Firefox 12. Hold on. No, this doesn't make a difference. Double slash or forward slash or backward slash, it doesn't make a difference. It's not compatible. If you go into the documentation of 2.28 version of Selenium, it's not compatible with Firefox 19. Hold on. Yeah. You see that now it is navigating, right? It is navigating to CNN website. Okay, so this is how you actually, hold on.
I'm sorry, when you hit the run button, you didn't hit the record button, right?
Which button?
Yeah, when you hit the run button, you didn't hit the record button, right?
There is no record button out here. It is Eclipse.
Okay.
In WebDriver, there is no recording. You don't record scripts in WebDriver. There is no facility to record. You just have to create the objects of the internal classes which are present in WebDriver, and you need to call the functions. For example, the get function is responsible for going to a website. Right? Now, similarly, for every browser, there is a different driver class. Okay. Now, before I move over to those driver classes, I will go back to my mobile phone.java. In my mobile phone, I had created two global non-static variables and one non-static function. What is a static thing then? I told you, right? You have got non-static variables, you have got static variables. Similarly, you have got non-static functions as well as static functions. Okay. Now, for example, int keys or int number keys. We all know that the total number of number keys on every mobile will be 10, 0 to 9. So I will make this property static because, okay, I'll tell you later on, just hold on, I'll answer your question. Mirzad, you need to create a project first, right? So you write static int number keys equals to 10. That means there are 10 number keys. So when I declare a variable static, then it no longer remains the part of the object. The variable is stored somewhere over here called as, in very simple words, number keys, and it is common for all the objects. It is not the part of an object. You can access this variable directly. For example, I go to test mobile and you can directly write over here system.out.println name of the class. What is the name of the class? Mobile phone dot number keys. The non-static variables, sorry, the static variables, they can be directly accessed with the name of class dot the property. Similarly in mobile phone, if I make a static function, say public static void, say a common property for all the mobiles is like this, insert sim. I can call this function directly with the name of the class, that is mobile phone dot insert sim. So you don't have to actually create the object of the class to access the static stuff. But if I have to access, say, call function or model or number properties which are non-static, you have to access through the object, right? So non-static properties of the class, they have to be accessed with objects, and the static properties can be accessed directly. Right. It is not mandatory. No, it is not mandatory. I can keep this variable int number of keys uninitialized as well. and I can initialize later on. I can write over here mobile phone dot number keys equals to 10. So all mobile phones will have 10 keys, right? Okay. Now going further into Selenium basics. Now this was about Firefox driver. Fine. Similarly, if you write the name Firefox driver as a class and put a dot, you will get all the static properties of this class except untrusted certificates. This kind of property is used when you are doing, you can say, you are testing HTTPS websites and you get that certificate errors and all for profiling of a Firefox binary. So you will get this fine, but just understand that if you have to access non-static properties, you have to create the object of Firefox driver. If you have to access static properties, you can access them directly with the name of the class. Right? Now, this was about Firefox. What if you have to work on Chrome? Right? What if I have to work on Chrome? To work on Chrome, if you look at the documentation, always refer the documentation of Selenium rather than giving your own shots at it, right? Refer the documentation, go to the Java docs. You should have a habit to read this. I learned Selenium from this Java docs only. Like it's very easy to understand. Right. There's a class called Chrome driver. This class is responsible for running on Chrome. So all you need to do is that you need to create this object of this class. Fine. Import it, move the mouse over the error and select import Chrome driver. Or you can make a shortcut for import. For importing files into Eclipse, the shortcut is hold on. It is Control plus Shift plus O. With this you can import all the files, right? This is helpful, for this one line it will not be helpful. But sometimes what happens is your friend gives you a code, you copy paste that 100 lines of code into Eclipse and then you see that there are a lot of imports which you have to do. So instead of going over each and every of the 100 lines and importing it manually, you can just press Ctrl Shift O, everything would be imported automatically. Okay. Now if you run this code, all of you will get this error. Now in Selenium, don't be afraid of these kind of errors. Most of the people, they just raise their hands and they just run away after they see the error, right? Look, it's very simple. Nobody knows everything. Even I also didn't know about this error when I encountered it for the first time. All you need to do is that, read the error message properly first. The error message is that the path to driver executable must be set by webdriver.chrome.driver system property. Now, I don't know what does this mean. So you just copy this and Google is your best friend. Just go to Google. This is how I also learn, right? And paste the error. And you will get all the types of solutions. Right? You can go to any forum, you will get the solution. Okay. The basic solution is that you cannot work directly with Chrome driver. You need to download a Chrome driver executable to work with it. Hold on, I'll tell you. Chrome driver, you go to this link, third party browsers. You go to download page over here for Chrome. And you need to download the zip file corresponding to your operating system. Windows, Mac, Linux, or whatever is your operating system. I downloaded it for Windows, and in the end I got this file, chromedriver.exe. When you extract the zip file, you get this file, chromedriver.exe. Don't run this file, you will not get anything, right? Make sure Chrome is installed on your system, the latest version. Okay, don't have the older version, install the latest version, and have chromedriver.exe placed somewhere in your system, and then write the command, right? You have to set a system property in case of Chrome, not in case of Firefox, but in case of Chrome you have to write system.set property. Now system is a class, internal class, and set property is a static function in that class. That's why I'm able to access it directly with the class name dot set property. Okay, and you can set the system property WebDriver dot chrome dot driver. This is the system property. Okay, WebDriver dot chrome dot driver, and you give the path of Chrome driver exe in your current local PC. That is, it is in my case in my H drive, Chrome driver dot exe. That is H drive. Chrome driver dot exe. And in Java you need to give double slash, right? You have to set the system property. This Chrome driver exe has been given by people who have made Chrome driver implementation. You have to keep it in the system path. And now if I run this code, I'll get, this is not an error message. Many people think this is an error message. It is writing started Chrome driver, Chrome is starting on this port, this is the version of Chrome, and log. Log means whenever Chrome driver starts, it generates a log file. I'll talk about it, but hold on, I think I closed it. Hold on, I'll again run this and you will see Chrome opening.
How do you know which is error and which is not?
Pardon?
How would you know that this is error or this is not? How can you identify an error message?
Whenever an error message comes up, there is an exception written over there. Okay, this is just a debug message. If I remove this line and if I run this, I get this exception. Whenever an exception comes up, then that means it's an error message, right? But if you set the path and if you run this, you will not get an error message. You will just get a browser opening up and you will get this message that this is the log file location. Actually, it's inside the project itself. If you refresh the project, it will generate a log file. Okay, inside the log file you will have all the information about Chrome. What happened, I launched the Chrome, this was my session ID, right? And these are various properties, like in my browser JavaScript is enabled and all. These are the capabilities, fine. So we'll talk about these, you will come to know as you proceed with the course. Okay, so this was just about starting Chrome. Now you can also similarly start IE. Now I am having IE6 on this machine because I am sitting on a server, right? Server based operating system. But I tell you, in case of Internet Explorer, most of you will be working on IE8, 9 or something like that. In case of IE, you need to firstly turn the protected mode to the same level in IE, or simply turn it off. For time being, to work with Selenium, turn it off. Just go to Google and type turn off protected mode in IE. You'll get the details. How to turn off the protected mode in Internet Explorer. Right. Why I asked to turn off, because many times people get confused. What do you mean by adjusting to the same level? Basically, it should be adjusted to the same level. Fine. So there are various parameters involved in this. Just follow the steps and turn it off for time being. And after that, for Chrome, for IE as well, firstly you need to turn off protected mode.
Ashish,
Yeah,
what is protected mode?
it's a feature in IE, right? It helps you to filter the websites and all which you are browsing based on the security ratings of those websites. Okay, so you can bring the protected mode to the same level, or you can bring it to and then for IE there is something known as IE driver as well, exe file. All you need to do is that you need to go to the website for Selenium and you will have this, yeah, the Internet Explorer driver server. You can download it, the 32-bit or 64-bit, find whatever you want. In my PC I have it at this location, right? And after that you need to give the command. You need to give the command.
Ashish,
Yeah,
hello.
yeah, tell me.
What happened? It become protected mode.
It never runs. I will not start. It will give you an error. Okay, it will give you an error.
Why? Why?
Selenium has been made in such a way that you need to keep the protected mode at the same level. Okay, it is made in such a way that you need to keep the protected mode at the same levels, right?
Same level means?
That's what I'm telling you. You just go to Google and just search turn off protected mode in IE. You'll get the information. Okay, there are various, like you have the, when you have to control the volume, you have these levels, right? Okay, same kind of window you will get over there when you are turning on or turning off the protected level. Okay, so you need, either you need to move them to the same level. I don't have i8 with me, I could have shown it, or I tell you simply turn it off by keeping them to the same level. Okay, so that's what I mean, right? And then you write the command system dot set property webdriver dot I dot driver, and in the value give the path of exe file. You write h drive and iDriver server.exe. And now you can create the object of a class known as Internet Explorer. You see, I just write internet and hit Control spacebar of my keyboard. So I get all the classes in Selenium API, in Java API, whatever it is, listed in front of me which start with the name internet. Okay, just type internet and hit Control spacebar. This is the driver which I want. Internet Explorer driver I equals to new Internet Explorer driver. Fine. Then you can write I dot get say http gmail.com. Fine. So if you run this code, mine one is IE6. See, this launches and it takes me to Gmail page, right? So now, okay, so this is about basics of opening the browsers, right? Similarly, there are other drivers as well. For Android, there is Android driver, there is iPhone driver, Safari driver is also there, but Safari driver is not so stable. Fine. And there is HTML unit driver. Okay, so there are lots and lots of stuff which are coming up, right? That's why I told, right, this stuff is quite vast. But does this mean that if I have got a driver for every browser, or if I have a driver for Android and iPhone, if I have to click on a link in Android, if I have to click on a link on Chrome, and if I have to click a link on Firefox, will the method be different? Will the way with which I click on the links be different? Got my point, right? After going to Gmail, I need to enter username, password and click on sign in link. The command for that in the command for that in Chrome, and the command for that in Firefox. Will the commands be different? To get that answer, you need to understand the concept of interfaces in Java language, right? Now, what are interfaces? Again, interfaces, they fall under the category of object-oriented programming. Fine. Do you have any questions till now? Like, any questions? Whatever I'm teaching, I know something will be coming in your head, some questions or something you'll not be able to understand. Anybody with any questions as of now?
Questions. Like, how do I know that that property or other property will work on this field?
Pardon, can you repeat that?
Like this, like sometimes you write system.set property, right? How do I know that this will work here?
This does work. I'm telling you with my experience. This is the command which you need to write. Because this
How do I know that? I have to write down set of property right beside system dot.
You mean to say, how would you know that you have to write this command? Look, if you don't write this command, okay, if you don't write this command and if you run it on a machine having Windows 8 or Windows 9, right, in my case, it gives you an error again, right? You see in the error it is written, the path to driver executable must be set by the system, by the property webdriver.i.driver system property. You get this? Right? That's why, yeah, that's why I am writing it over here. Moreover, if you want to go into detail, just as I told you, copy this error message, go to Google and paste the error message. You will get everything. You'll get the solution. Just look at first 4 links. You will get the solution how to do it. This is how I have also learned it. Right? Any other question?
Hey Ashish, this is yes.
Yeah.
One question. It's a basic question basically. I just want to know if somebody doesn't have any programming skill, we still think that he can learn the Selenium. And if it is, then what level of effort is required?
If you don't know testing.
If I don't know the programming, I don't have any programming skills.
Okay. Look, the thing is, if you don't know programming, right, that's why I have the trial class, right? Trial classes I keep so that you can evaluate yourself whether you are able to understand or not. Look, what I tell people, that's what I'll repeat again. Don't try to jump over to the classroom training directly. If you're not so comfortable about programming, fine. On my site, qtpselenium.com, I also have a series of video tutorials which I give along with the course. Fine. You can have a look at these video tutorials, right? You can get the access, you can buy the access. In these video tutorials, I have taken Java in very detail. Okay, much more than what I actually teach it in the class, right? The first 7 modules are on Java, and once you go through them, you'll feel quite confident enough. So that's what I tell people, go for the videos, learn from them, get a background. I know you will be having questions, fine, but later on you can join the training by paying the remaining fee. So when you come to the training with the background, with some questions in your mind, okay, you understand it in better way. Like for example, in this training, there are people who have taken up the videos, and if they have looked at the videos, then they will be able to relate stuff what I am teaching. So that helps a lot, right? But if you're a guy who has already worked on Selenium, or if you're a developer, or if you know programming, if you have experience with it, you're confident, you are getting what I'm teaching in the class right now, you're understanding it, then you can directly go for the course, right? Yeah.
How do you set the path control in real-time?
I cannot hear you, Lakshmi. There is a lot of noise coming from your side. Make sure you don't have any electrical equipment near your microphone, like your mobile or something.
I'm repeating the question. How do you set the path configurable in real-time environment?
What do you mean by
You're
real-time?
giving you're giving
We
H
give a relative
slash-
path. We give a relative path. For example, yeah, that's a good question. The question being asked is, I'm hard coding H drive. What if I give this code to you tomorrow and you don't have a H drive? So what will you do? Well, practically what we do is that the best solution is keep the exe file, copy it, go to your project, right click on the project, create a new folder. Okay, I will name that folder as executables and keep the exe inside this executable folder. This executable folder is directly under the project. Okay, now in Java language, let's talk about Chrome out here. In Java language, if I write system.out.println system.get property, there is a system property again which is inbuilt. Okay, there's a system property called user.dir, user directory. If I run this will print the current location of my project, no matter where the project is. Fine. So that's why I kept the exe inside my project. Now what I can do is I can give the location of my project, and inside it there's a folder called executables, and inside it there's a file called chromedriver.exe. So what will happen is that even if the project location changes tomorrow, you take it to any server or anything, right? System.get property would give you the current location of the project, and under that I have this chromedriver.exe. This is how you can run this. If I run this will launch Chrome. You see that? I hope that answers your question. I have to perform a test on 2 versions of Firefox.
Yes. Thank you.
Welcome. Preet, you have to use grid for this. Using grid is the best solution. Using grid is the best solution. The question being asked is, I have a single test case that has to be executed on, say, Firefox 5 as well as Firefox 10. So better is use the grid configuration, make a node, make a hub or a centralized server, you can say, connect both the nodes to it. This one PC and this is another PC. On this PC you run Firefox 5, on this PC you keep Firefox 10 and execute the test parallelly. I do it this way, right? It makes it easier. Fine. But this is something which I'll be teaching you later on in the course. Fine. If I want to test Android or iPhone, what configuration? You have to have the SDK on your machine. Fine. Right now it's quite tough for me to also explain because I don't have all those configurations on my machine. You just have to use Android driver and you should be having Android SDK. I missed 30 minutes of the class. Are you going to send us the record? Yes, I'll be sending you the recorded video for this class, even if you have missed it. Yeah, any other question like before I move further, because move further and explain about the architecture of WebDriver. The very first question in many interviews is that explain me the architecture of WebDriver. Okay, and people give all sorts of answers that WebDriver is this, WebDriver is that, and WebDriver will do this, that. The very simple answer is that WebDriver is an interface. Okay, what is an interface? I'll tell you in brief. Okay, if I create a new class, right, or I will create a new interface. Okay, I'll create a new interface called as phone. Now interface is something which describes the outline of what you will be. Are you guys able to hear me? Like Jay is telling you he lost my voice.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, fine. So interface is something which provides you the outline of what you're going to do. For example, when you open up a book, what do? The first thing, you look at the index page, right? The index page tells you what are the contents of that book. You don't know how vastly they are covered. Right? Or the very simple example, my website, it gives you the contents. Okay, this is just like the index page. It tells you how the course is, what all topics are covered in the course. But you don't know the details about the topics. Right? Some people, when they read a topic, for example, they read a topic like configuring JSON file format to initialize, configure hub and nodes. Now many people will not be knowing what this topic is, but it is covered in the course. So it is just like an overview of what I am teaching. This is my interface out here, my website interface. Similarly, in programming language, I have an interface called phone. In that interface, I can define what a phone is supposed to do. For example, public void call. I can have a function like this, but I will not give the body to this function. I can have a function like public void recharge. A phone, it will recharge itself, and Jay, I guess you are the only one who is not able to hear. I guess everybody else is able to hear. Right? I hope everybody else is able to hear me. Right? So,
Yes.
yeah. Okay. So there's an interface like public void. You can have a function like send text. So just by reading these functions, you can come to know what phone is supposed to do. Right? Similarly, in the WebDriver interface, if you look at the documentation of Selenium, right? This is whatever is in italics inside the documentation is an interface. The very simplest example being mouse. Mouse is an interface. It represents the basic mouse operations which you do. For example, click, context click, double click, move down, move up, mouse move, right? And we need to implement interfaces that I'll cover later on, right? Similarly, if you look at this WebDriver, it is written in italics. What is WebDriver? It is an interface basically. And there are various features of this interface. We'll talk about that. But everything starts from this interface. Right? If you go to the older version, if you go to Google and you type Selenium RC Java docs, and if you look at the documentation of Selenium RC, first of all, these are all the classes, that's it. In WebDriver, you have these classes. Just compare it on the size, that's it, as a layman. Right? This was Selenium RC and this is WebDriver. Okay? If somebody was asking me differences between RC and WebDriver, look, until or unless I'm not able to teach you things technically, it's quite difficult to explain you the differences as well. This is thus the difference on the size. In this, there was just one interface, there were three interfaces. One of them was Selenium. Initial version of RC had an interface known as Selenium. This interface had everything inside it. Everything they just put in one interface over here. For example, you want to close a window, there was a close function in the interface, right? Then there were a lot of other things as well. Double click, delete cookie, create cookie, control up, key down. You can see the function names, right? They represent themselves, right? Some of the functions you'll be able to understand. Okay, so this is basically an interface. And what is the use of interface? If we don't have anything inside the interface, how do we use it? How do we use it practically? Fine. I'll talk about that. I'll talk about it tomorrow, because if I start talking about it, I don't have time right now. Okay. Meanwhile, if anybody has got any question, he can ask me. Anybody with any question, doubt about the course?
When will we get this for the session? Today's session?
It will take time for me to upload it. Probably by tomorrow morning Indian time I'll be uploading it and I'll be sending it to you. Okay?
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks.
Hey, Ashish,
Yeah.
will you be also covering TestNG?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. What we'll be covering tomorrow? Tomorrow I'll be continuing with interface. Then I'll tell you how to work with various web components. How to find elements on a page and all. And we'll move over to WebDriver a little bit. Right. Yeah. Any other question?
Ashish?
Yeah. I'm not able to hear you. There's a lot of disturbance from your side.
Sorry. Selenium, what type of testing is it? Like, is it functional testing?
Functional. All the automation tools, they are for functional testing. They are all the automation tools are used in the regression phase. Don't make the mistake of using an automation tool when the site is under development, when the site is unstable. All the tools are supposed to be used in the regression phase for the functional testing.
So I can use it for backend also, right? I can pull the queries.
Look, backend stuff, if you have to connect with backend, then Selenium will not connect to backend. It is Java code which will connect to backend. Okay. In Selenium API, there is no command to connect to backend. You have to write your own Java code to connect to backend. Yes, class will be at the same time tomorrow, Mirza. Yes. Is it possible?
Ashish,
Just a minute. Is it possible to perform web services testing using? No, there is no feature to perform web services testing in Selenium. Better use SOAP UI. It is the best tool which I've seen for web services. Yeah, tell me, somebody was asking me a question.
Yeah, I'm just asking, my application has a backend DB2. Do you think this will Selenium REST support that?
What is in the backend?
DB2.
Yeah, DB2 is a, yeah, it can, if you want to connect Java to DB2, it can connect. Okay. Selenium will only interact with your browser. Right? How does developers they work? Developers they connect to the database and they put the value in the database. They never use Selenium, right? So you have to write the code which developers they write to connect to database. Selenium will interact with the browser, with the components of the browser. Suppose this is my browser and I know that this number is coming from the database and I want to validate whether this number is the same number which is coming from the database or not. So what I will do is I will bring Selenium in between. Selenium will read the number and then Java code will come. Java will connect to your database. Java will read the number from database and then you can compare both the numbers. Okay. Yeah. Fine. Another question being asked is that what is the disadvantage of using? I'll talk about that later. You know what? In Eclipse Juno sometimes TestNG gives issues in installation.
Are you going to cover only WebDriver in this session, or you will be covering the IDEs and stuff also?
Look, IDEs, I'll not be covering IDE video. I have kept it as an open video. If you go to my site qtpselenium.com and over there is section for free Selenium videos. In this section the complete IDE tutorial is free. You can watch it. Nobody uses IDE these days. Right? Yeah. So questions are being asked. Hold on. Would you be covering planning part as well? How do we go about estimating learning projects to a POC towards the end of the course? I can tell that it generally depends on the number of manual test cases and the time it takes to execute them manually, because we automate the manual test cases, right, Selenium? So that's why. Can we use Selenium to test RESTful? Again, Neha, if you have to test RESTful services, then the better tool is SOAP-UI rather than Selenium. There's a free version of SOAP-UI available. There's an API available. You can pick it and test RESTful services and all. There are pre-built commands. There is no pre-built command in Selenium to do that. Yeah.
Hey, Ashish, have you ever evaluated Microsoft Test Manager?
No, I have not ever. No. I know. No. I know QTP, I know Selenium, I know SOAP-UI. Okay. So I never worked on this test manager. I work on like Robotium and all I have worked on for mobile applications and all, but not on that. Right. Anything else? Yes.
Can I get an approximate estimation of timing? When can I be ready to prepare the template or testing using the WebDriver if I am starting the class right now?
I can't get you. Can you repeat your question?
Yeah, actually my company is wanting me to create places in the IDE.
Yeah.
I am in the middle of the process. The whole responsibility is on me. Automation is fine. Okay. But right now, as I understood, that IDE is not going to be useful. I want to move on to this WebDriver. So I just wanted an approximate estimation of time. When will I be getting ready to start the template WebDriver creation, everything?
In 2 weeks you can, in 2 weeks at least you can start off with the test cases.
Okay, okay. Simple understanding. Okay.
Yeah, yes. Are you going to cover Selenium using Maven plugin? Yeah, I'll do that. I'll tell you what Maven is. It is very important. Right. Okay, okay, that's a separate question. Fine. Yeah. Anybody else? Right. Tomorrow we'll have the class at the same time. you will be getting a meeting invitation. The same URL will not be valid. Okay, a different URL will be sent to you.
As is today's video, you'll be sending on the email or you'll be uploading to your site?
I'll be uploading and I'll send you the link.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah.